Friends, today I want to talk to you about a moment in life where many stand on the edge of decision, almost persuaded but not quite ready to step forward. This moment is a place filled with hesitation, doubt, and a heart wrestling with truth. It's the place where your soul feels the pull of something greater, yet fear or pride keeps you from saying yes. Almost persuaded means you have heard the call. You've felt the tug of conviction deep inside. You know there is a better path, a light beyond the shadows you walk in. But maybe you are holding back because the cost feels too high, or the unknown frightens you. Maybe you tell yourself, not yet, or I'll come later. But I tell you, the time to decide is now. The voice calling you does not grow fainter with delay. It is urgent, persistent, and full of grace. Every moment you wait is a moment lost in wandering. You are closer than you think, and the door is open for you today. Don't let the devil of doubt steal this moment from you. Don't allow the lies of fear to silence the whisper of hope. Stand firm. Step forward. Say yes to the invitation that will change your life forever. For almost persuaded means almost saved, but salvation comes when you cross that line. So I urge you, make that decision now. Don't turn away from the love that is reaching out to you. Embrace it. And let the peace that passes understanding fill your heart. The moment of being almost persuaded is one of the most powerful moments a person can experience. It is a crossroads, a spiritual and emotional hinge on which the rest of a life can turn. At this very instant, your heart is open, your mind is wrestling with truth, and your spirit feels the gentle pull toward a decision that could transform everything. It is a sacred pause where the invitation to a new life stands before you, waiting for your response. This moment is unlike any other because it holds the tension of possibility and resistance. You are caught between two worlds, the familiar comfort of the past and the uncertain promise of the future. It is the moment when you feel the warmth of hope mingled with the chill of fear. Though everything inside you longs for change, the fear of the unknown threatens to keep you frozen where you are. This tension reveals the great power of the moment. In this space, every thought matters. Every question and doubt weighs heavily, but so does every whisper of truth and every glimpse of light. The power of this moment lies in its ability to sharpen your awareness, to make you see clearly what you might have ignored before. Suddenly, you are more alive to your need for something greater, something beyond yourself than ever before. The almost persuaded heart knows it cannot go back to pretending all is well. There's a profound significance in this pause, for it reveals the true state of a soul. It shows how deeply the call of hope has reached you and how much resistance remains. It's as if the scales are hanging in the balance, and your response in this very moment will tip them toward life or continued wandering. The power in this moment is its weightiness, how every second feels charged with eternal consequences. What makes this moment so powerful is also its rarity. Not everyone comes to this place of near decision. Many live their whole lives in denial or distraction, never hearing or recognizing the call at all. But you, standing at this threshold, are granted a rare gift, the opportunity to see your own heart with stark clarity. It is a gift to be almost persuaded, for it means you are alive to change and open to transformation. The power of this moment is also seen in how it stretches your faith. Even if you have doubts, even if you have questions, you have already begun to believe something different is possible. That is faith's first flicker, small spark born in this tension-filled place. The almost persuaded moment is the seedbed where faith can begin to grow if you will allow it. It is a holy waiting room where the soul prepares to cross the threshold. Within this moment lies a holy urgency. The very fact that you are almost persuaded means you have been touched by grace. And grace does not linger forever. It presses upon you with a gentle insistence, urging you to respond before the opportunity passes. The power here is that this moment can become the turning point between regret and joy, between darkness and light, between brokenness and healing. Finally, the power of the moment lies in its invitation to courage. To move beyond almost persuaded requires bravery, the courage to let go of the familiar and step into the unknown. It asks you to risk rejection, to face your fears head on, and to trust that what lies beyond is worth it all. This is no small thing, and that is why the moment of being almost persuaded is so weighty. It calls for a brave heart willing to say yes. Deep within every human heart there exists a quiet voice, a still small whisper that stirs the soul toward something greater. This inner tug of conviction is often subtle, yet persistent. It's the feeling that there is more to life than what we currently live, that beneath the surface of daily routine lies a deeper truth waiting to be embraced. This tug pulls at the very core of who we are, reminding us that our lives are meant for something higher than mere existence. This inner conviction does not come from outside pressure or external demand. It arises from a sacred place within, a spiritual compass that points us toward the path of purpose and peace. Even in the midst of confusion or distraction, this tug refuses to be silenced. It often begins as a gentle nudge, a restless stirring in the heart that something needs to change, that there is an invitation to a fuller life that we cannot ignore. What makes this inner tug so powerful is its persistence. It does not give up easily. Even when we try to push it away, to ignore the discomfort it causes, it returns again and again, sometimes in the form of a sudden thought, sometimes through a powerful emotion or a chance encounter. It can come in quiet moments of solitude or in the midst of life's chaos. The strength of this tug shows how deeply it is connected to the truth within us. At times, this inner conviction can feel like a burden. It disrupts our sense of peace and makes us restless. But it is a holy burden, a sacred unease that urges us to wake up and pay attention. It reminds us that settling for less than our true calling is not an option. This tug pushes us beyond complacency, beyond comfort, toward a life aligned with the deepest desires of our spirit. The inner tug also serves as a mirror, reflecting back to us what we truly value and who we really are. It exposes the gap between where we are and where we long to be. This reflection can be uncomfortable, revealing the ways we have compromised or turned away from what we know to be right. Yet it is in this discomfort that growth begins, for the tug challenges us to move forward despite our fears. This tug of conviction often comes with moments of clarity. Suddenly, what was vague and uncertain becomes clear and undeniable. In these moments, the heart recognizes the truth it has been avoiding, and the soul feels called to respond. It is as if a veil is lifted and the way forward is illuminated. The power of this clarity can be overwhelming, but it carries with it the promise of new life and hope. Despite the strength of this inner tug, many resist it. The pull toward change is often met with inner conflict, between desire and doubt, courage and fear. This struggle is part of the human experience. The tug of conviction can be drowned out by voices of discouragement, self-doubt, or past failure. Yet, even in resistance, the tug remains, quietly persistent, waiting patiently for the moment we choose to listen. This urgency is not born of pressure from without, but from a deep internal stirring that something in your life must change now. It's as if a gentle but insistent voice is reaching out through the noise of your daily existence, urging you to listen, to respond, before the moment slips away. This urgency arises because the opportunity before you is real and immediate. The door to transformation stands open today, not tomorrow or some distant time. While life may seem to move at a slow, predictable pace, the truth is that moments like these are fleeting. If ignored or delayed, the chance to step into a new life can grow dimmer, and the invitation may grow silent, replaced by regret or missed blessing. There is also an urgency because the longer you wait, the more you risk becoming hardened or distracted. Time has a way of dulling the senses and softening resolve. What felt urgent and clear one day can become clouded and distant the next. The heart's responsiveness can grow faint when it is not acted upon quickly, and the clarity you have now can dissolve into confusion or indifference. The urgency of the call is wrapped in grace. It is not a harsh command, but a loving plea. It comes not to condemn, but to save, to restore, and to redeem. This grace-filled urgency beckons with compassion and patience, yet it also demands your attention. The invitation to respond is extended with both mercy and a pressing desire for your well-being. Within this urgency is a deep awareness of life's fragility and uncertainty. None of us knows how many moments we have left or what tomorrow will bring. This uncertainty should awaken a sober recognition that today's decision matters profoundly. Life can change in an instant, and the opportunity to choose light over darkness may not always be at hand. Urgency also pushes against procrastination, the natural human tendency to delay difficult choices. We convince ourselves that there will be a better time, that we can wait until we are ready. But readiness is often a moving target, and the call remains urgent regardless of our hesitations. The moment to respond is always now, even when we feel unprepared. This call's urgency can bring a sense of unease or discomfort, but that discomfort is a signal, not something to be feared or avoided. It is the inner alarm that awakens the soul from complacency. Without this urgency, the heart might continue wandering in uncertainty, never pressing forward into the fullness of life and peace that awaits beyond the decision. Finally, the urgency of the call reflects the love and care behind the invitation. It reveals that the one calling you desires your freedom and joy so deeply that the opportunity is pressed upon you insistently. This urgency is a sign of how precious you are, how much the decision matters, not only for this moment, but for all the days that lie ahead. Delay can feel like a safe refuge when faced with a difficult decision, but it is often the greatest danger in the journey of faith and transformation. To wait, to say a not now or later, is to risk missing the very moment when life can change for the better. Delay builds walls of doubt and fear, slowly hardening the heart against the call of hope and grace. What seems like a pause can become a prison. Every moment of hesitation gives room for distractions to creep in. The busyness of life, the noise of daily concerns, and the pull of temporary comforts can steal your attention away from the urgency of the decision before you. Delay allows the soul to grow weary, the mind to wander, and the spirit to settle into familiar patterns that keep the door to change firmly closed. Delay is also dangerous because it feeds the lie that there will always be more time. We convince ourselves that tomorrow or next week will be better, that we will feel ready then. But life is unpredictable, and the future is uncertain. The longer you wait, the greater the chance that the opportunity will slip beyond your grasp, replaced by regret and sorrow for what might have been. Procrastination also dulls the sensitivity of the heart. What once stirred deep conviction can grow faint as days turn into weeks, into months. The soul's urgency is like a flame that needs tending. Without action, it dims and flickers until it is nearly extinguished. Delay cools the fire of passion and hope, making the decision harder, not easier. Furthermore, delay can create a sense of spiritual inertia where moving forward feels impossible. The weight of accumulated doubts and excuses builds over time, creating an invisible barrier that feels insurmountable. This inertia paralyzes the will, making the choice to step forward seem more daunting with every passing day. Delay also opens the door to regret. The heart looks back on missed opportunities with sadness and wonder about what might have been if only the moment had been seized. Regret can weigh heavily on the spirit, causing bitterness and sorrow. The danger of delay is that it steals from the present and robs the future of its hope. In many ways, delay is a thief, not just of time, but of peace and joy. It robs you of the blessing that comes from making a decision and stepping into the light. Instead of embracing life fully, delay leaves the heart in a state of limbo, suspended between what is and what could be, never fully alive to either. Yet the danger of delay also reminds us of the preciousness of time and the importance of urgency. It calls us to break free from hesitation and grasp the moment with courage. For every delay is a chance lost, but every step forward is a step into grace, healing, and new life. The journey toward making a life-changing decision is never easy because it involves a battle, a spiritual and emotional conflict that rages within the heart and mind. This battle is real, intense, and often unseen by those around us. It is a struggle between the desire for transformation and the forces that resist change. Understanding the reality of this battle helps us prepare, endure, and ultimately overcome. This battle begins in the mind, where thoughts clash and war over truth and doubt. On one side stands the voice of conviction calling for surrender, change, and hope. On the other, there are voices of fear, skepticism, and old habits that cling to the familiar. These opposing forces create confusion and inner turmoil, making it difficult to find peace or clarity. The mind becomes a battlefield where every thought has weight. The heart is also a key battleground. Emotions rise and fall with the tide of the conflict. Hope wrestles with despair, courage with anxiety, longing with resistance. The heart feels the push and pull of these forces, sometimes overwhelmed by the intensity of the struggle. This emotional turbulence is a sign that something important is at stake, that the soul is being tested and refined in the process. The enemy in this battle is not always obvious. It may come in the form of self-doubt, past failures, or the seductive comfort of old patterns. It may whisper lies that discourage and deceive, telling you that change is impossible or that you are not worthy. These subtle attacks seek to weaken resolve and keep the soul trapped in a place of stagnation and fear. Spiritual forces also play a role in this battle. There's a spiritual dimension where good and evil contend for the soul's allegiance. The call to transformation is a call to freedom, and freedom is often resisted by dark powers that prefer captivity and despair. This reality reminds us that we are not alone in our struggle, and that victory requires more than human strength. Yet amid this battle, there is also the presence of grace and hope. The struggle itself can be a sign of growth, a sign that the heart is alive and responsive. It is in the battle that courage is forged and faith is tested. Every moment of resistance met with perseverance draws the soul closer to breakthrough and healing. This battle demands vigilance. We must be aware of the forces at work, guarding our thoughts and emotions carefully. Ignoring or denying the battle only allows the enemy to gain ground. Recognizing the struggle enables us to call on strength beyond ourselves and to seek help from the unseen power that fights alongside us. Finally, the reality of the battle is a call to endurance. The path to transformation is not marked by ease, but by perseverance through conflict. Each struggle faced and overcome strengthens the spirit and prepares the heart for the new life that awaits. The battle is real, but so is the victory that comes when we refuse to surrender. Faith is the quiet but powerful force that pulls a person beyond hesitation and into the realm of decision and transformation. It is the unseen hand that reaches out when the path ahead is uncertain and the heart is filled with doubt. Faith is not merely wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is a deep trust in something greater than ourselves, a trust that the promises of hope and new life are true, even when we cannot yet see the full picture. This role of faith becomes especially crucial in moments of being almost persuaded. When the heart stands on the edge of change, faith acts as the bridge between knowing and doing. It is the courageous step taken despite fear, the hand extended in trust when the outcome is unknown. Without faith, the moment remains a pause. With faith, it becomes a movement forward. Faith also invites us to believe in the possibility of grace, that no matter how far we have wandered or how broken we feel, there is forgiveness and renewal waiting. It is the anchor that holds us steady when our doubts try to pull us under. This assurance allows us to release the weight of guilt and shame that often chains us to past mistakes, opening the door to freedom. Moreover, faith nurtures hope. It transforms the almost into yes by creating a vision of a life changed and a future redeemed. When faith takes root, it changes the way we see ourselves and the world around us. It shifts the focus from what is lost or broken to what can be healed and restored. This hopeful outlook is a vital fuel for the journey ahead. The role of faith also means trusting in the timing and process of transformation. Change is rarely instant. It often unfolds slowly and requires patience. Faith teaches us to wait with confidence, knowing that what is begun in the heart will be completed in due time. It reassures us that every step, even the small and uncertain ones, are part of a larger plan. Faith invites us to surrender control. To say a yes in the moment of almost persuasion means trusting that we are not alone, that there is a guiding presence who walks with us through every challenge and triumph. This surrender is not passive resignation, but active trust. A willingness to lean into the unknown with the belief that we are held. In the midst of uncertainty and conflict, faith becomes a source of strength and courage. It empowers us to overcome the barriers of fear and doubt that stand in the way. Faith is the voice within that says, you can take this step. You are not forsaken. It reminds us that the power to change comes not solely from ourselves, but from a higher source. Finally, the role of faith is transformative. It does not merely prompt a decision. It changes the very fabric of our being. When faith is embraced, it reshapes our identity, our purpose, and our destiny. It turns the moment of almost persuasion into a new beginning, a birth of hope, peace, and everlasting life. The promise of new life is the beautiful hope that shines brightly on the horizon for anyone standing at the threshold of decision. It is the assurance that beyond the moment of hesitation lies a fresh beginning, one filled with renewal, peace, and purpose. This promise is not a vague wish, but a profound truth that has the power to transform every part of our being. New life means more than simply starting over. It means being made whole and restored. It is the mending of broken hearts, the healing of wounded spirits, and the wiping away of past regrets. This promise brings the hope that no matter what has happened before, the future holds the possibility of freedom and joy that surpasses understanding. This new life also brings freedom from the chains that once held us captive. Chains of guilt, shame, fear, and sin. The promise offers liberation from the weight of these burdens, replacing them with a lightness of heart and the courage to live boldly. It is a release into a life marked by grace and mercy, where the past no longer defines the future. The promise of new life is deeply personal and yet universally available. It calls to each person individually, inviting them into a relationship that restores identity and worth. In this new life, the soul finds belonging and acceptance, not because of achievement or perfection, but because of unconditional love that embraces us just as we are. Beyond personal restoration, the promise of new life carries with it a purpose. It calls us to live not just for ourselves, but for something greater. It invites us to be part of a larger story, a story of hope, redemption, and light in a world often shattered by despair. This new life empowers us to make a difference, to shine with the light that others can see and follow. This promise also comes with the gift of peace that surpasses understanding and guards the heart and mind through life's trials. It is a deep, abiding calm that is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in the assurance of being held by a loving presence. This peace sustains and strengthens even when challenges come. The promise of new life includes the hope of transformation that continues day by day. It is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey of growth and renewal. Each day offers new opportunities to live in the fullness of this promise, to experience grace anew, and to reflect the light of hope to the world around us. Finally, the promise of new life assures us that no one is beyond its reach. No matter how many times we have faltered, no matter how many times we have been almost persuaded but held back, this promise remains. It stands ready to welcome, to heal, and to restore, inviting us to step fully into the life we were always meant to live. So now the question stands before you. Not tomorrow, not later, but right now. Will you heed the call that has been tugging at your heart? Will you break down the barriers, rise above the fears, and step into the promise of new life waiting just beyond hesitation? Remember, the battle you face is not one you fight alone. There is strength and grace available to you, strength to overcome, grace to forgive, and love to carry you forward. The moment is urgent and the choice is yours. Don't let delay steal what could be the greatest decision of your life. If you find yourself almost persuaded, let that be the spark that ignites a flame within. Take that step of faith, even if it feels small or uncertain, for it is in the surrender that new life begins. Life filled with hope, peace, and purpose beyond anything you have known. The promise of transformation is real, and it is waiting for you today. Will you say yes?